Greetings for the day. We Group 4 have selected Coach Carter as the movie of our choice for OB movie review, and I'll be giving a synopsis of the movie to set context for further discussion. So, the movie Coach Carter is a story about Richmond High School basketball coach Ken Carter, who changed life of his team by guiding, motivating, and inspiring his team. In the story, the coach meets the basketball team where the players were fighting amongst themselves and pointing each other's mistakes. He was invited from the Richmond High School by the previous coach to take up his position as the basketball coach, which he accepted. He understood that the players were very undisciplined and disrespectful fellows. He focused on gaining in team spirit and teamwork, which the team lacked the most. He brought in commitment by making the team sign a contract which had certain conditions. A key point here is that he started off as an autocratic leader and he gave punishments for those who did not follow his instructions. He changed his strategies according to the situation and did not care about the other's perception. All through the stage of building and coaching the team, he had gone through different tough situations, which he faced very boldly and fearlessly. When coach found out that his team was doing bad academically, he locked down the gym and cancelled all the matches. And the media criticized him for this, but he did not change his decision. The coach focused not only on winning the match, but on the overall achievement and development of the lives. And that, in a sense, is what the movie is about. Now I'll be talking about the main characters briefly in the following slide. So, Ken Carter, as the clear leader in the film, takes up the leadership role, influence. On the right-hand side, Damien, who is also his son, is always aware that his father's values and aims are really high, whether it comes to coaching or parenting. He influences the team ideas into practice that will meet coach's aims and ultimately to achieve success. One of the main protagonists is Timo Cruz, who appears to have the highest social status amongst the team members. Due to this, the other team members value. Last, Jason Lyle, who is behind the decisions that have meant that the team members come together to help one another. For example, in one of the instances, instigating that the team should continue to study and increase their grades before they resume their basketball. So he was essentially the gel between all of the other team members, focusing on how the CADs as well as the sports can go hand in hand. The next slide, we'll be talking about team building and group formations, which Raman would be taking up. Over to you, Raman.
Yeah, hey, greeting of the day again. And so I'm going to talk about the team building exercise, which is one of the most important and imperative exercise of an organization in any. So team for group 4 stands for together everyone achieves more. There is a famous quote by Henry Ford: coming together is a beginning, keeping together is a progress, and working together is a success. So the concept of teamwork is extremely important to the success of any group. People who are a team have a common goal and work as one unit. Members within a team recognize that their accomplishment is dependent on the action of others. Team building as a concept manifested in the movie Coach Carter. Before Coach Carter took over the job, there was no element of teamwork or team spirit within the team. Lots of personality clashes were exhibited by the team. This was depicted in the locker room scene when he took over as the coach, where the conflict took place. And there were other instances as well when Timo Cruz and other players like Worm Jr. and TY were criticizing each other's effort in the match by trading blames and trading barbs on each other's mistakes in the match. Now, can we move on to the next slide, please? Yeah. So basically, there are many concepts which we can use to understand how the team or the group was formed by the Coach Carter or in the Coach Carter movie. First, we're going to talk about the Tuckman's team building theory. It can be used in explaining their team's behavior. The team and the new coach went through this team building process as portrayed by the Tuckman. So Tuckman proposed basically a model which consisted of forming, storming, norming, and performing of the group. Now let's look at each of the node of this model individually. Let's first talk about the forming phase. At this phase, they were individualistic with members of the team, with each team member focusing on their personal interests by being aggressive to authority. As we talked about earlier, this was displayed when Timo Cruz insulted Coach Carter on the first day as the team's coach and also tried to hit him as a sign of disdain for the authority. The next phase is the storming phase. This phase was exhibited as the team begins to comprehend each other, but sticking out independently, as seen after he made them sign a contract on established behavior for the team. The contract created a lot of turmoil, but later the things mellowed down. Next stage is the norming stage. At this stage, there are clear signals of collaboration and teamwork in the team as they have learned to appreciate the worth of functioning collectively rather than independently. This was evidently depicted in their matches where they defeated their opponents consecutively by playing team strategies and formations. And one of the last stage is performing. At this phase, the team's performance was beyond everyone's expectations. They were undefeated and were also able to overcome reigning champions, Bay Hill Academy, their school, to clinch the trophy. This shows how everyone helps each other to achieve even their personal goals, as well as also it reflect on their future. Their team members became the contributors to the society. Moreover, the basketball of Richmond High School in the film Coach Carter shows successful cohesiveness in both tasks and society after several weeks of Ken Carter's coaching. Now, the next theory which we'll talk about is the Peter Honey's 5 team rules. So Peter Honey proposed a framework to the roles within a team compared to that of the another research scholar known as Belbin. So he built upon the research of Belbin and created 5 different team rules, which are the leader, the challenger, the doer, the thinker, and the supporter. Let's look at them briefly individually. The first is the leader, which ensures that the team has clear objectives and makes sure everyone is involved and committed. In the Coach Carter movie, the coach, which is the Ken Carter, has this role. And he actually set out all the aims and the values through the means of a contract and by creating the practice exercises and all that system. So next role is the challenger, who questions effectiveness and presses for improvement and results. The person who manifested in this role or fulfilled this role was Junior. As Junior battled, he upheld his contract and on discovered that not all the members had done the same. He questioned the other members on this and motivated them to perform. The next role is the doer, who urges the team to get on the job in hand and does practical tasks. This role was fulfilled by the Lyle, who basically assisted Cruz in completing his target before he could return to the team, as well as instigating that the team should continue to study rather than play. The next role is the thinker, who produces carefully considered ideas and weighs up and improves ideas from others. This role was fulfilled by Damien Carter, who is the son of Ken Carter, as he understood all the aims and values when coaching. And due to his knowledge, he presented the team with ideas and shaped their ideas in support to meet his father's and the coach's aims. The last role is the supporter, who eases tension and maintains team harmony. This role was provided the team with humor when tensions and stress are high. So now my friend will take over. Thank you.
Thank you, Raman. Let us now discuss the culture, values, and discipline. Let's first begin with defining organization culture. Organization culture can be defined as the group norms, values, beliefs, assumptions practiced in an organization. It brings stability and control within the firm. The organization is more stable and its objective can be more understood clearly. Now we have identified 5 elements of organization culture from this movie. Number 1, if you play like a winner and act like a winner, you will be one. In addition to the setting the tone physically, Coach Carter also sets his expectation that the rest of the team play like winners and act like winners in order to become winners, not only on the court, but in life. Number 2, a team struggles and triumphs as one. Taking accountability for their teammates' shortcoming, this gesture is one of the first instances where the coach's word connect with his players and is a lesson in selflessness and the importance of working together as a team. Number 3, the importance of wanting a better life. We see that the coach points out statistical evidences of what could become of their lives without pursuing a high school diploma and a college degree. Asking the team to look at the reality of the current situation in life and decide if they are willing to work towards a better one, Carter gets his troop back on track with his speech, which serves as a reminder that education is a very important factor to succeed in life. Number 4, we all have to face our deepest fear. The coach lays emphasis on facing our deepest fear and becoming the best version of ourselves. Number 5, true champions find the victor within. In life, we often look at how far we have to go or how we have fallen short without acknowledging how far we have come and the inner strength and perseverance that it took to get there, which makes Coach Carter one of the greatest upcoming age films of his time. Now we'll discuss the organizational values and discipline. Organization values describe the core ethics or principles which the company will abide by no matter what. They inspire employees' best efforts and also constrain their actions. Now coming to defining organizational discipline is the practice of self-restraint and learning to follow the best course of action which may not be according to one's desire. Discipline is very important as it binds the employees and also motivates them to respect the organization. Now let us take these values and disciplines and connect it with the movie. The coach of the basketball team, Coach Carter, came up with a player contract which has a few conditions. This was termed as a player contract, and there were 4 conditions. All the players had to maintain a minimum of 2.3 GPA. They needed to attend all the classes and they had to sit in the first row of those classes. Number 3, all players needed to turn up 5 minutes before the start of any practice session, else they will be penalized for being late. The 4th condition was that it was mandatory for all the players to wear a tie on the game day. Now the second value and discipline was that the players were not supposed to do trash talking and they were supposed to respect the opponent. And the third important point was that all members in the team, they needed to address each other as sir. Now I would request Radhika to take over the next slide and the next concept. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sohaib. Now we'll be talking about personality of Coach Carter using Big 5 personality theory. The first we're going to talk about is extroversion. Coach Carter is a busy personality and has good communication skills. And sometimes he do influence people. However, he is less talkative and avoids attending social occasions. Second, we'll be talking about agreeableness. He's a straightforward person and does not like to manipulate or use people. He does not brag about himself or his achievements. I mean, that's what humility is all about, right? Next, we'll be talking about openness to change. Yes, he's a man of principle, and though he is less imaginative, but he generates original solutions to the problems. And now we'll be talking about conscientiousness. He likes to be organized and doing things according to a plan, and there is no doubt that he's a hardworking person and sets high standards. Last but not the least, we'll be talking about emotional stability. He's comfortable with self, happy with life, positive about future, and knows well how to work under pressure. We'll be handing it over to Komal now. Thank you.
Thank you, Radhika. So we are talking about leadership. Coach Carter is very empowering leader because he demonstrates and uses a variety of leadership styles. At the beginning of the movie, he uses a very autocratic and theory X leadership styles. And this becomes very evident when he introduces himself as the man in charge and commands the team to follow his rules and orders. Another instant when he expressed himself as the autocratic leader is when he refused to alter his way of thinking and approach, and despite the complaints that he got from principal and parents, he did not change his ways. He fully controls his players in all aspects of their lives, from how many hours they give to community service to how they go to the classes and how their attendance should be and the academic performance they need to give and the dress code they will follow. Everything is controlled by Coach Carter. Now, he also can be seen with the leadership style of contingency. It is the form of leadership where a manager is dependent on the surrounding environment. In the form of leadership, a manager often looks at relationships, task structure, and the positional power. Contingency leadership relates to Coach Carter as he constantly changes his leadership style based on the environment or the attitude, the success, failure that his team members presented with him. It can also be seen in the middle of the movie. From contingency leadership, he moves towards the transactional leadership. A transactional leader is a leader that believes that people perform their best when their chain of command is clear and definite. A transactional leader also believes that a person is motivated by punishment and rewards. Coach Carter greatly meets this definition when he is strongly adamant on using rewards and punishment to ensure that the team member knows who's in charge. He had the team continue to perform large amount of push-ups and suicides until they learned to respect him, each other, and the game. He also presented a typical transactional leadership style when he used, "You give me what I want and I'll give you what you want." By this, he asked for respect and patience and adherence to his rules, and in exchange, he promised the team that he would give them the winning. Towards the end, it can transactional leader, he demonstrated the style of transformational leader. A transformational leader is a leader who works to inspire and convince others to do much more than they originally had expected or they had planned, and they were willing to do in support of large-scale innovation and change. Coach Carter is able to inspire the team into believing that they can believe and they can achieve far more than they had imagined for themselves in real life. He also shows that the characteristics of a transformation leader when he makes the whole team suffer together and then triumph together. This is the style of transformational leadership. Now, I would like Fazal to talk about the next concept. Thank you.
So as a team, we tried to relate this movie with some of the motivation theories that are popular in organizational behavior. We zeroed in on three theories: the room expectancy theory, Maslow's theory of needs, and the theory of intrinsic motivation. So I'll be speaking about room's expectancy theory first. So the theory suggests that individuals are motivated by three factors: balance, that is, and instrumentality, which is belief. Room's expectancy theory states that individual's motivation is an outcome of how much an individual wants a reward, the assessment that the likelihood that the effort will lead to expected performance, and the belief that the performance will lead to a reward. When it comes to the movie, Coach Carter exhibits these three stages throughout the film to motivate the team players to succeed in both. It begins by rewarding the players for their attendance within their classes by opening up the basketball court. He then uses discipline and gets the players to sign contract in order to portray that as a coach, he is serious in achieving success in all aspects of the individual's lives, which encourages the team to build up trust and loyalty of the coach in order to go on to demonstrate their motivation in succeeding. When it comes to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I mean, Coach Carter aims at achieving the ultimate goal in the hierarchy of needs, that is self-actualization, due to his transformational leadership as they desire to grow and develop from within, following his inspiration. I'll be concluding about the motivational theories with the theory of intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation is driven by an individual's desire and interest to perform a particular task. Intrinsic motivation exists within the individual rather than relying on external pressures or a desire for a reward. Completing tasks gives the individuals pleasure when doing so. Coach Carter portrays towards more of an intrinsic motivator through his genuine interest and passion to inspire and motivate the team to achieve the goals. His passion for the team comes from within as opposed to external factors and the pressure of achieving rewards. Coach Carter motivates the team intrinsically by not applying pressure to win. However, the team adheres to his clear expectations and achieves more than they expected without feeling any pressure that they must achieve. To sum it up, on behalf of my team, I would like to state that this movie is not just a typical sports movie with an underdog who, against all odds, wins against a formidable opponent. Rather, it addresses larger issues such as juvenile delinquency, teenage pregnancy, and the cycle of poverty among low-income workers. It highlighted how the system is designed to fail people from the minority communities, but through persistence and perseverance, it is possible to overcome the handicaps imposed by the system and break out of the cycle of failure that is associated with them. Thank you.